Welcome, everyone. I will be checking in with comments in a moment, but if we're ready, we'll begin. I think everybody's on. Cool. So welcome, everyone. The last few months we've been doing this, we've been advised for kind of positive energies, which I think is good. We're being given some signs that there is change coming, but please be aware my readings tend to be maybe 3 months ahead. And I kind of contemplated this the other day because I had another date being presented to me, which is March 2025. And I thought, well, maybe I'm 6 months ahead, but maybe that's how long we need to be ahead if we want to be influential in creating the changes and helping anchor in what I'm speaking of. So I think sometimes when I call this an energy forecast, it's not really an energy forecast. Perhaps it's more of a energy alert so that you can tap into these energies and bring some of this stuff closer to us and help us all implement it more quickly. So that's what I'm thinking there. But over the last few months, we've had two energetic states. We've had, are you able to fall in love with life? And life is glorious. And this was all regardless of the chaos that we're experiencing around us, which is quite surprising, really. And it's asking us really to step into our energy alchemist role, to kind of see that we can bring that energy to the planet and experience it on behalf of humanity. And I think that's the key to this way that it's encouraging us to work as we've progressed through these episodes each month. So there are some energy visualizations on the last episode to help you with that. So make sure you go back and check them out. So this month, we're being invited to consciously regenerate into the next phase of what I call being the quantum human. The ability to bring in the feminine energies of higher wisdom and the masculine energies of taking action. So it's logic and intuition. And the outlook based on this is still positive. It's about light. It's about bringing in new light. But we have to work on our shadows and our wounds and our healing and integrate them into our body if we want this to be our reality. So tonight we're going to be also discussing the Eve archetype and how that fits into a Lemurian outlook that seems to be presenting itself this month. So remember, when I present these ideas, it's not necessary that I want you to believe my truth. I want you to discern your own truth, but I want to provide you with information to help you expand your consciousness and for you to think differently. So this isn't about whether I'm right or wrong. I want you all to be thinking, how could this be true? And what would that mean? What would that make me be able to do? These are meant to be expansion of all of us. So if you're feeling burnt out, stuck, lacking fulfillment or purpose maybe, or even just feeling overwhelmed, but you're still showing up to events like this, then I welcome and celebrate you at this time because we need you. And I make this content each month for you because you need to know you're not broken. You are in the middle of a living death, and it's painful, and it's difficult, and it's a struggle. But I hope through these energy landscape sharings that I offer, you can find how to navigate these times in a more enlightened way. Because we are going through a huge transformative time, and it's part of our evolution. So I'm a soul purpose guide and a visionary, and I share these ascension energy roadmaps because I call them quantum human revelations as a practical guidance for you to step out of the shadows and the confusion and into your full light. So I want you to unleash your full potential, and I try to offer them as one easy step at a time. So you might not even realize that some of these things seem simple, but they're huge. They're huge towards your self-realization of who you are and what you're here to do, so that you can create innovative change and impactful change in your corner of the universe. So if you feel a soul calling to be more, and if you feel a yes, then come and take this journey with me today. So I'm just going to check how we're doing on YouTube to see if there's any comments. So please do drop some comments. Yes, we are live and I can see the comments. So please do drop me a heart or a hello so I can see you on YouTube. So I'm using my phone. I've given up trying to use it all in one tag. And I hope that everybody on Zoom is comfortable today. Oh, let me just let another one in to join me. So hello to everybody on Zoom. Cool. we've got everybody up and running. So how are we all doing at the moment? How are we finding the energies at the moment? And take a breath and just bring yourself into your body now as I talk about the energies this month. So I like to think of these sessions as a kind of like mini workshops. They're the seeds that I'm planting for you to start embracing the energies I'm talking about. So how can you co-create with me for the next hour? Grab your journal, grab your oracle cards, and maybe if you know how to create some vibrational water of the energies I talk about that you can use as a medicine for the rest of the month. Because everything I speak about are not just the words, it's a quantum weaving of words and frequencies that I'm sharing with you. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this live or on replay, those energies are still there for you to tap into. So you can just intend that the energies I'm sharing today are integrated into your body or into the water if you want to make water. And just that you intend to release any negative contracts and vows that are going to prevent you accessing the information I'm sharing today. And you don't need to understand it. Your soul knows all of this stuff. Just intend it to be entered into your body in the right way for you. Because whilst I could show you these energetic doorways, and it's still up to you to choose to open them and explore them. It's your own quest to discover who you are and what you're here to do. I'm just the guide. So just be curious, take responsibility for your energy and your consciousness and discernment so that you can unlock profound changes for yourself. So today we're going to be talking about the November theme. So this is from now through to the middle of November, and what skills you'll need and the outlook that we're aiming for this month. I'll also talk about the strengths and the challenges that we have and what advice and next steps to focus on. So this is a kind of taste of what we do every month in my Quantum Human membership so that we can be supported in our journey of a self-realization to learn how to balance that personality and soul so we can become more of our empowered selves. So if you're ever interested in joining me for the full experience, then do email me. And also at the same time as now, there's a bunch of people on Zoom with me that we continue the conversation after this live finishes, so we can have a more intimate Q&A about the energies that I share. So if you fancy joining me for that or for the membership, then just email me at whitestarsoulguidance@gmail.com. So please do share this with other people you think might enjoy this content, or other quantum humans that we need, because we need to build our army now, army of light. And the more people we can reach, the better. So do hit the like and subscribe, and do add comments too, because it always helps the algorithm. I always seem to be fighting the algorithms, don't seem to want to share my content. So that would be really cool if you could do that. So hello to everyone on Zoom. I see everybody's arrived now. So the theme today is a bit odd. It's an energy that I couldn't put my finger on, so it might be a little bit different for each of us. But the theme was a rabbit. So the energy that came with that was too much concern with sexual matters. Now, this could be a synthesis of genders, or it could be about conception of ideas and birthing ideas. There's a lot of feminine energy in the reading this month. So we're going to be talking about Eve and the Star Woman and Lemuria. So it's somehow interwoven with all of that. But I'm just going to share the interpretations I've got so far, but you may have your own insights. So please share them, because we all have a piece of the puzzle, and it's great when we all put our pieces together, we get even more amazing insights. So I've got a hello. Hey, Judy, thank you for commenting on YouTube, so I can see that's all working. So that's fantastic. So what have we got to deal with this month? Well, I must point out, I'm not talking about Eve in a religious sense. This is something as a concept. I think of these as consciousness and architecture and energy. So when I talk about this, try and bring that openness to your mind to what we're going to be talking about, okay? So the kind of ingredients that we're going to have this month are going to be quite a lot of galactic things. So I'm going to spend some time covering that. Then I'll talk a bit about the symptoms, and then I'll go through. I can't do the cards quite like I normally do, go through them organized, but they're kind of more intertwined this month. So I'm going to kind of move them around a little bit. So while we're getting all into the groove of this energy, I've got some questions for you. I always ask some quantum human questions to get you thinking and participating in the energies. So take a few deep breaths, connect into your body. And as you focus in on your body, just take the first number that pops into your head for these questions. So if you want to write down the numbers, there's 4 questions today. So the first question is, from 1 to 100, I am ready to regenerate or reinvent myself. So you can either pop them into the comments or write them down and pop them in later. So 1 to 100, I am ready to regenerate or reinvent myself. Just the first number that pops in. Question 2. If you guys can put a number like 1 and then the number, because when I scroll back and look at them later, I won't know which answer is which. We had that problem last month, I realized. So number 2, I am ready to receive new wisdom, 1 to 100. So I am ready to receive new wisdom, 1 to 100. And then number 3. Give you guys a moment just to jot the numbers down. So I'm ready to receive new wisdom, 1 to 100 is number 2. And then number 3, I am ready to take action on this new wisdom, 1 to 100. So if you're watching this on replay, then share what you get in the comments, because I always come back and have a look. Excellent. So just think what those questions might mean for you. So for those that don't know me, I'm Trudy, and I kind of love the King Arthur story as a framework for my work. It's that experiencing this ascension to remembering who we are, our purpose and our vision. And I help creative and sensitive and empathic people connect to the higher consciousness and divine intelligence, guiding you on an adventure of self-discovery, because it's all about the journey, not the destination. The journey that we're all embarking on right now needs courage and inner power of our true essence. And that's what I call your holy grail. The more we can tap into that true essence, the easier this journey becomes. And I believe we're all here to create innovative change and make a difference. So if that's you, you're in the right place. Cool. So I've got all the answers coming through here. Nice. So let's tap into the energy. So we're going to I talk about the cosmic nature. So I mix kind of very practical advice with also helping you tune into the cosmic energies. So I want you to consciously consider that everything is energy, all words, all frequencies, the planets, the constellations, they're all kind of archetypes, angels, goddesses, they're all archetypes. This is important for today's kind of lesson, is to see that we have a consciousness. We all know about the subconscious. That's where our shadows sit. You know, when we do the Scorpio kind of transformation, that's the energy of bringing the subconscious and the shadows up to connect with our conscious so that we can deal with it and integrate those parts of us. But then we have the conscious, which you'd kind of think if we all lived from our conscious mind, everything would be great. But even our conscious mind can trick us and fool us into thinking things are real when they're not. You know, even with AI now, you know, we can see more and more situations where we're really not going to be able to tell what's truth and not anymore. Who's written well, who's used AI, what images are to the truth. All of this is bad enough on a 3D level, but it's also true on a spiritual level. You know, how do we know that we're downloading the highest frequencies? How do we know we're following the divine plan? All of these things needs something bigger than our consciousness to tap into. Now, most people then say it's your higher self, and that connection to the higher self is this thing that's bigger than us. I like to think of the higher self as 2 bits. When I work with people, I see it as soul wisdom. And the soul wisdom is kind of the personal soul narrative of your multiple lifetimes, your different dimensions of who you've experienced yourself as, from the past, the future, the parallel. The soul wisdom kind of knows the bigger journey of your lifetime, whereas your personality tends to know your incarnation this time. Your soul knows yourself as this bigger being. And it does have an aspect of remembering itself as divine, but I find it's not always as strong as it could be. So it means it's not always fully tapped in. So there must be something higher than that. And that's what I call divine intelligence, the divine plan. And it's like the soul then, when it can connect to the divine intelligence, gets to know itself as an instrument of God, as we are here to bring in the divine energy of love, of harmony, of unity consciousness onto the planet, to learn how to work with the human personality, the human emotions, and balance them in a way that we can become the quantum human, and to use it not just to become healers, but to become just good people on the planet, using all of our skills and everything we do, always working for the greater collective, which again fits that Aquarian age. So if we see our consciousness as these different levels, then I know about 2 years ago, we started talking about multi-dimensional memories. And I explained it like you might be on an aeroplane traveling here from somewhere else, and you've got 10 kgs of luggage you brought with you, and you've lived many lifetimes with that 10 kgs. Well, now that portal's opened up bigger, so now you can bring 50 kgs of your luggage, which is your soul memories and your multidimensional nature. And that's been coming down slowly over the last few years. But what I noticed this month was that we got a brain upgrade that was going to flip our paradigm about who we are. And this brain upgrade came in with the Aries full moon. I'll speak about that in a moment. But just to show you that there's something else even bigger than our multidimensionality, which I think is this divine intelligence and the divine plan. So some people call this the great work that we're here to do, or your kingdom's work. I was shown it as your soul's great vision, and it's something that we weren't born into this incarnation with. The mission we were given in this incarnation was only to get us up to 2022. At 2022, I was told, close the book, that's done, you've done the work you need, well done. Now you need to create the vision. You have been the ground crew experiencing life on Earth. You have learned a load of lessons about integrating spirituality, multidimensional wisdom into the physical body, the issues the body struggles with, the DNA activation. You've learned all these little tricks. Now, based on your understanding, because divine intelligence is not embodied, it doesn't have to work with the physicality, it doesn't know. Now we have to become the peers that we report back. We're not the workers and the management. We are now all working together on a level playing field, where we're sitting at the table with the ascended masters and the other consciousness in the universe. And this is what I like to call the Galactic Federation of Light, not like the spaceship concept that a lot of people speak about, but as a consciousness. That's what's awakening in each of us, is this peacemaker, harmony, unity, loving being that we really are, that just couldn't come through because of our human architecture. And since January, I've been told that that's what's awakening. This is kind of bigger than Christ consciousness and Buddha consciousness. It's one step up because it includes time and space. It's on a bigger space. So if we think of that as the different levels of consciousness, then when I talk about knowledge and wisdom later, it's accessing this higher divine intelligence that I want us to think about. So does that make sense? Hopefully. Yeah. So when I talk about the ingredients we're working with, I'm talking about the ingredients on the divine intelligence level, because this is new to me. My soul doesn't know some of this stuff. I have to learn it to share it with you each month. So when I talk about they told me, I don't like to think of it as they, as somebody outside of me. I don't like to think of it as channeling. I prefer to think of it as just my wisdom and my own knowledge coming on board. And I think that's what's going to happen for a lot of us over the next few months. So, of course, the first energy that we've had, the ingredient of galacticness that's whizzing around, is the solar flares. So we know that they've been happening and we've all been feeling frazzled. It's impacting our nervous system. But it's also awakening parts of our DNA and the codes in our DNA so that we can start preparing our body to remember more of who we are, from the codes of creation to our divine ancestral wisdom to our multidimensional skills. All that stuff has been in the DNA and it's been woken up by the solar flares. On top of that, we're in a part of space, which is the photon belt. Again, this only happens like thousands of years cycles, so none of us have experienced being in this photon belt. That's bringing in a lot of energy and shifts. We have a comet, Atlas, which is the second time that it's coming to visit us. It came, I think it was first spotted at the end of 2022, and it's back again. And this 40,000 year cycle happened to be, the last time this was in the skies around Earth was when Neanderthals switched into Homo sapiens. So that fits into that consciousness shift I was just talking about. So I saw the vision of the comet, but I didn't know it was a comet at the time. I just saw these particles coming in from ice off of a tail of a comet. There's ice, and that these would drop down and awaken our DNA. And I learned that meteors from comet tails carry amino acids, and amino acids are what they think was the trigger between Neanderthal and Homo sapien. So, there's physical science behind some of this, but it's all about awakening our DNA, which can carry, for women, it carries back our lineage right back to the original ancestors. That could go back to Lemuria, Atlantis. It can go back a long way. So just know that this chain can be quite huge. And remember, when DNA opens, you get good and bad memories. And the bad memories are not to remind you how bad you are and how you should beat yourself up and how you should block your spiritual skills. This is about you remembering what you've already tried so they didn't work, so that you can come up with a better solution at this time, because we need the best solutions at this time. And then we need the people who have been here multiple times, trying out different techniques, ready at this time to awaken, to help pave the way for this ascension to take place at this time. So that's quite that already is quite a big lot of energy to consider. But on top of that, this month, last month, I spoke about the outlook for last month was moonstones, and I couldn't quite work out what they were. Well, it turns out we've got a second moon this month. Until it was just after I posted that video that the moon was found. It's just moons are satellites. And it's there until November 25th. It's called PT5, and it's come from the asteroid belt called Arjuna, which is the Hindu archer. And I said it was going to bring cyclical change. That was the kind of word that kept coming up, and I couldn't quite understand it. So I think I have a bit more information on that this month. So this moon, it's very small, it's tiny compared to the actual moon, but we have these two now circling Earth. And when I try to tap into PT5, it just says that it's here to witness. And it kind of feels like it's an audience member in an amphitheater, and Earth is the amphitheater. So there's kind of this theatrical acting kind of energy with it as well that I haven't quite placed. But somebody else also tuned in and felt that this PT5 was a witness to something, and a witness to this cyclical change is what I think it is. Now, recently, I've heard people talking of the Kali Yuga and how the end of Kali Yuga might actually be March 2025. So I thought, I wonder if this moon is witnessing the shift from Kali Yuga, which is the end of 4 phases in the Hindu cycle. And the next one is the lighter version. So the Kali Yuga is the crashing, burning, falling into greed, demise, descent, and then catastrophe. And then out the other side, we come with the light, the enlightened period, the golden age. So that kind of fitted that cyclical kind of concept too. So it kind of feels like now we're stepping into being the version of us, and I mean really the empowered version of us, the quantum human we're meant to be, to bring in this cyclical change. So if you just ask this question before we do the next section, this is the last question, question 4. What percentage are you of your full quantum self at the moment? So what percentage are you of your full quantum self, 1 to 100? That's question 4. Okay, we've got to do that one because I'm going to take you through the next section. When I talk you through, I'm hoping is going to start recalibrating you a bit. So Judy's saying that this might be where the rabbit fits in. Don't follow the rabbit down the rabbit hole. Don't follow thought. Thought, that is thought, not through. Yeah, I think the rabbit's going to be quite interesting. It was a hare as opposed to a rabbit, right? But the same concept, Okay, so we got 4. Good. So before we go into the next section, we have the strength for this month, which is this mudra. I would show you how to do it, but I realized from my side of the camera, you just get the back end of this. So you put your hands together, put all your fingers together, Then match up your thumbs so the nails line up, and then bend your forefingers tip to create this star. And this helps with consciousness, which is what we're talking about today. It helps with wisdom, clarity, and concentration. So you can imagine as you create this shape, consciousness guides me to true clarity and freedom. We all got that? Yeah. So we want to hold that position. It's not comfortable. It's like hand yoga, trying to get your fingers into the shape. But if you can hold that space and create that symbol when you're going through some of this consciousness shifts this month, you might find it very soothing. I found when I did it onto my third eye, I kind of liked it. It was kind of a nice feeling. So practice, put it on your heart, put it on your head, see where it feels good for you. So that's the strength of this card reading. That's what I said, it's going to be a little bit wrong way around. So with that in mind, we're going to think about the full moon and Aries energy that we've just had. So Aries as an archetype, I'm not an astrologer, I just use this as an archetype. And for me, Aries is when we learn to master using our mind to terraform and to reform our bodies, which is regeneration or reinventing yourself. And this is about you changing who you are. Now, you might think, oh, no, that's going to take forever. I'm going to have to practice and learn how to be different. But this is no different than what actors do every day. So think of this as you are acting a part of an imposter right now. And just decide you're not going to be that anymore and what you're going to be instead. So who are you going to reinvent yourself into? And this is going to be a physical, DNA, energetic. You can imagine your chakras realigning, your DNA opening, all through the mind. You can imagine bringing in more balance between your soul and personality. You can imagine having your soul's great vision as a book appear in front of you as your great work, and you're reading through it, finding out what you're here to do. So we do a lot of this work in the full moon workshops. So this is just a taster. And what I noticed when we were doing the full moon, I was getting that we were receiving a new architecture for the brain. And what I saw was the brain kind of opened up. So like we got, oh, I just realized two hemispheres of the brain. We've now got three. A third part just came down. I don't know, I didn't see that before, but yeah, it's okay. I saw it opening and this third part kind of slotted in on top. That's what I saw. And that's what I was doing the energetic recalibration for on the full moon to help people integrate this third piece. It would make sense that there should be three, shouldn't there? But anyway, so this is going to help us quantum leap our thoughts about who we are. And it was just saying, like, you might believe you were a pauper and suddenly you find out you're a prince, or you thought you were a caterpillar and now you find out you're a butterfly. It's that kind of flip. So we're at that point. It kind of fits in with everything else I've been speaking about up to now. And this is why I want to introduce the advice for this month, because the advice was sapphire as a color, as an energy, the sapphire energies. And what that will allow us to do is to help recalibrate the body and regenerate the body and help integrate this new wisdom that's coming in. So if we want to all just imagine now bringing in some sapphire energy into our bodies, and we're intending it to purify, soothe the body, the mind, the nervous system. The nervous system's getting a bit battering. And soothing the integration of this new brain architecture as we upgrade. And then the subsequent regeneration that's going to cause with these new three parts to the brain. So allow that blue to flow through your head. Imagine it go through all the pathways of your brain. And just let it clear any blocked pathways of the memories of how to do this. Let it just bring you clarity. And then the final exercise you can play with this month is create the ball of blue energy between your hands, and then just put it in your body wherever you feel you need it to help the regeneration process. So again, just visualize it. Even if you can't feel it, if you're new to this kind of work, just sense that there's an energy there, put all your mind thought into it, make it stronger and stronger, and then let it move into your body where it needs to go. So as you're doing this, then just imagine this new narrative of who you are and what you're here for. Just imagine yourself kind of like rewiring yourself, like Doctor Who. I like the Doctor Who analogy, where he bursts into gold light. He doesn't change because he's bad and wants to be better. It's just time to be something different. Just like a caterpillar and a butterfly, the caterpillar doesn't think, oh, I'm so bad, I must be a butterfly or else I'm not worthy. It's just time. It's programmed into its DNA. And I think it's programmed into our DNA too. Now, the important thing with this regeneration is to be big and bold, quantum human as you possibly can. Even if you don't know what it is, just think big. Think bold, action, confidence, courage, curiously, altering the energy of the planet, terraforming. Just go with that. And the thing is, the next energy we're going to get, full moon energy we're going to get, is Taurus. And Taurus is about managing our resources, which is now bringing that energy into the physical and actually turning consciousness into form. And it's interesting that at this moment, we're going through the Orionid's meteor shower. And this is bringing in cosmic rays of our nearest star nursery, which is the Orion Nebula, where stardust is stored to create stars. And we're made of stardust and we're made of stars. So it's that kind of physical element is coming in as well for us. And then I said at equinox, I felt that the 5D grid, which had always been higher, I couldn't find it the other day, and it's because it's now woven into the physical architecture of the Earth. Now, the two are laying there that we can kind of crossing over, and we can choose which one we want to tap into. And we found we were all tapping into the 5D grid in the Earth and kind of navigating it, and it just made us feel like if we didn't feel comfortable on this planet before now, it's because we were waiting for this time for these new energies to come in so we could feel comfortable. And tapping into that 5D grid as it is on the planet is when we finally went, oh, finally, I feel like I'm meant to be here. It feels a little bit better. There's still a lot of other energies going on that's not quite, completely embraced yet, but at least it felt like there was something more familiar about this new architecture on the planet that maybe my multidimensional self could remember from other times. So that is now accessible to us as well. So we've got so much potential now to start manifesting and terraforming on the planet. And the problem is, to be able to do that, we need ourselves to be regenerated into the quantum humans that know how to do this. We need to be our true essence. So just tune into that a moment and just breathe that concept into every being of your cell, every cell of your being. Just take that breath. So let's do this one as question 4B. Let's recheck. What percentage are you now of your full quantum human self? Let's see if I've already started to plant some seeds to get this to awaken a bit more. Now, some of us might already be there and already playing with this energy, but at least now you know you've got a name for it and you can give it a name and say, oh, this is to do with integrating our full self from multiple dimensions, male, female, up, down, everything. Heaven and earth. So question 4B, what percentage are you now of your quantum self? So the work that I do in the membership is helping recalibrate, but obviously sometimes we need one-to-one work, especially we've got some old memories from Atlantis and Lemuria, the last time this was kind of attempted, that might need liberating before we can integrate who we're meant to be. So the other ingredient that we have is we still got Pluto back in Capricorn, breaking away the old structures in his farewell party, smashing down all the old hierarchical kind of structures. And for us that are soul awakening, that's breaking down that personality and soul hierarchy where you feel like you are a victim to your personality. And that's going to be with us until November 19th before it moves back into Aquarius then for the next 20 years. And then we're going to start seeing all the blocks or Pluto's going to kind of shine the line at all the blocks regarding what Aquarius is here to bring. So clearing the way and removing all the blocks so Aquarius can start integrating. So it can be more heart-centered, soul-aligned, utopian, more consciousness pouring into the planet, more of us acting on it. So if we understand that the personality has been our boss up till now, a lot of work we've been doing in the last few episodes has been rebalancing that. So we really have to focus now on letting go of blaming others, karma, past experiences holding you back, any old soul contracts or old soul visions and missions, blaming yourself as being an empath and not being able to manage energy, feeling like you don't want to be here on Earth as a starseed, letting any personality fears rule you, because this is all you giving your power away. And it's effectively putting yourself underneath something else. Even if you pray to the angels or call on them to fix things for you. If you do that now, you have to do it as the two of you are fixing it together. You're not sitting there as some pauper holding out your hand saying, please help me. This is now about saying, okay, I have this issue. I know this about it. I know your consciousness of Sirius or the consciousness of Isis, or there's a different energy, completely different energy from that approach than sitting there waiting to receive. So hopefully my internet just said it's blipped out, but there's a difference between sitting around that table and working together than being like the pleading, asking for energy to come to you to help you. And this is the personal hierarchy that we're basically breaking at this last phase of Pluto and Capricorn. Because we've been shown over the last few years, even the last few months, how to break these illusions. They're not true. You're not broken. You're not a victim. You are the saviors. Come here at this time in hiding and forgetful, but you are the saviors we need. You contain this galactic federation of light consciousness that we need to birth in the next cycle. And if we follow the Kali Yuga concept, then this is the cycle of Krita, Satya, Yuga, the golden age. So we know the universe will meet you where you're at. So if you want to stay a victim, then that's the experience you're going to have. The energy is again too powerful for that not to be painful anymore. If you want to be different, you have to change. You have to change the way you behave, change the way you think, change who you hang out with, because that's how you'll receive more, and that's how you'll grow and achieve more of the things that you're here to receive as well as to do. You know, we're here to do this great work, but we're also here to receive and to enjoy it and to love the experience as we go through it. So I think that's I think what bits we're going to go into now, but are we okay so far? Because that's a lot of stuff so far. Are we okay? So just imagine now that you're tapping into these quantum human skills for humanity needs for the next phase. And I want you to imagine that this is the phase of the Kali Yuga, the darkness closing down, the crumbling, the hierarchy, the breaking down, and that you are not the victim of this. You're actually somehow working in some other dimension on helping this happen. That you have more power, and yes, the personality and the 3D worries are all there trying to kind of interfere with this process, but really you've got a lot more power than you realize. And you know this because you're here to be birthing in the golden age. How does that feel to you guys? Does that resonate? Can you sense that? Can you tap into that? Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm back now. I did freeze for a second. Cool. So physical symptoms we're still going through. I think this next few months is going to be really about body care. You have to prioritize body care, nervous system care. There's going to be lots of downloads. I like to imagine dials to slow it down if I'm not feeling up to it. I kind of ask to be let alone when I'm sleeping, so I get time to kind of recover my body in between. But there's a lot of energy coming through, and it's fast. It's coming through quickly. So allow yourself to find your self-care routines to help with that. So we've been having things like ear ringing, nervous system shaking, exhaustion, anger, frustration, a little bit of hopelessness. We're getting to the end. Stomach issues, which I think is a side effect of being tired and wired, or the crystalline architecture coming on board as we shift from the more solid architecture into the crystalline. Our food needs change. Maybe you wake up feeling not safe because you've been having dreams of Armageddon. You know, the last time this happened, there was a lot of Armageddon experiences and cataclysms. But I don't think it's going to be this time, by the way. So, you know, don't worry about this time. And you might have felt like you've lost some momentum on things, but it's because we're in this phase of switchover. So we've been called to do different work than moving forward on our plans right now. So these are all the signs of change. And the more we can learn to flow with them and not resist them, then obviously the better it'll be for us. So last month I spoke about how I felt like I'd been taken out I felt like I was being paused to do something else. And Judy quite accurately called it like being hijacked. And I think that's still going on. And I think it's because we're being called to take our place in this transition of Kali Yuga which is the dark dissenting phase, into the enlightening phase. And I think many of us might find that this next few months we might want to hibernate a bit more while we actually hold space for this to happen. I found my nervous system and my heart and my breathing have been really impacted by this. So I'm doing a lot of nervous system rewiring. And for us holding this energy, you know, we've done it before. We haven't done it in a human body before. So this is why I say take care of your physicality and find and share with others any tips you find that work for you. So, you know, we've got this consciousness mudra to help. We've got the royal blue, the sapphire blue. So those are kind of some of the tools that they've suggested this month to support us. So the Kali Yuga transition, it said, is dated for March 2025. But of course, we could bring it forward. If we are here at this time, we could be the secret weapon that's been put on this planet so that we can bring that forward. So don't align with dates necessarily. Just remember, we've all got a part to play. And if you don't know how to do this work, or you don't know if you're doing this work, all you have to do is tune into love and hold those higher octaves of love and keep bringing in more higher sensations into your body, like life is glorious, I love life, those kind of energies. Keep bringing them in and sending them around the planet, and that will support those that are doing the work. We've all got our part to play, and we all know exactly what we're supposed to be doing. So just align with that. So that's a lot. That's just the ingredients we've got. That's without the challenge for this month. So everybody okay? Yeah? Are we all okay? Cool. So today's focus is this consciousness blasting information that's coming in from Comet Atlas. So the question is, are you ready for this download? And that's why I was asking earlier if you were ready to receive the wisdom that was coming in. So let's see what you guys have written. So we had the first one was, I'm ready to regenerate and reinvent myself. So yeah, Judy's up there doing her work. 100, 98. Yes, Judy's sorted. Unfortunately, Judy must be also one of those people up on the grid holding this energy too. So big hugs, because we all need a big hug for that now. So we got some 94s, 37 on the first question. You're ready to regenerate yourself. So if you're finding your numbers are low, then you have to ask yourself, what can I do so that I can be more ready to regenerate? Question 2 is, oops, where's question 2 gone? Right, question 2, am I ready to receive new wisdom? So that's kind of like, are we ready to receive the information coming in off the comet? So for 2, we've got 91, 80. So you guys, yeah, you're pretty good. You're getting quite good numbers there. So that's good to know you're ready. And then finally, the third one was, are you ready to take action on this new wisdom? So we got a little bit lower on 76, but 96. So everybody here with me on Zoom and on YouTube so far, getting some good answers. But guys, do put your answers in, even on replay, because this will help you. There's this magic that, it's hard to explain. There's this magic that once you are aware of something, then you can't not be unaware of it, and it can't behave the same as it used to. So just simply asking these questions is going to start recalibrating and shifting you automatically. So do play along and answer your questions and give yourself a moment to tune into what these mean for you. So now, what percentage of your full quantum self have we got? And we'll check in again at the end to see if we can get that up a bit more. So just what is your quantum human self? So with the quantum human self, it's quite interesting because between 1 to 100, you might get quite a high score, but it might be the level of the quantum human you're meant to be in this phase. So again, with all of these, there's always a fine tuning of asking the questions like, once I've reached this 100%, is there another level of quantum human I can be? And then how many levels are there? There's a lot more questions we can ask to explore where we are along this timeline. But again, it doesn't really matter because it's not about the end game, it's about the journey. The only reason I asked that question today is because I want you to realize how much you are already there or how much you could still be. to realize, that I think that even if you're 100 now, I think over the next month, you're going to find a whole new doorway that you didn't even know was there. Part of your brain that had been shut off and now is coming back online. And it's going to kind of like shoot open and you're going to go back down to say like 20, 30%, because that 20%, 20 or 30% is of a bigger hole now. So play with those numbers over the month and see how that goes. So today's theme, like I said, was too much concern with sexual matters, the rabbit, the hare. And like I said, I'm not 100% sure if that was to do with sexual, like real physical sexuality, or if it was to do more with energetic, divine masculine, divine feminine. So I pulled another card to go with this to get some more insights. And the message was, away we fly, take the cloud roads and delight in your imagination. So that made me think this is more of a consciousness, male and female, as opposed to the physical one. And it could be to do with synthesizing what we've currently separated as male and female into this quantum human merged version instead. So it could also be to do with birthing projects, having too many, like rabbits have lots of babies. So it could be to do with having too many projects and not knowing which one to pick. So there could be a few things going on here. And it could be that there's just a lot of energy coming down right now and we don't know how to integrate it. So I suggest that you, at the end, I'll ask you to pull a card with a challenge and use that as your guide for this month. And that should help you then integrate the theme a bit more. So I'm going to do a bit backwards, like I said, because I think we need to know about the outlook before we know about the challenge and the preparation. So we've done the strength and the advice. The strength was the mudra. The advice was the sapphire blue. The theme is this rabbit and consciousness and sexuality. The outlook is actually Lemurian seed codes. So Lemuria represents as an archetype, as a consciousness, a highly attuned feminine way to work in harmony. So it's kind of unity consciousness and connectedness, not just between humanity, but the planet, the plants, the animal kingdoms. It's kind of that holistic ability. And they had an inner vision that could see for hundreds of miles. And you could think of this as not just like horizontally, but also cosmically. And I think of this as a technology similar to that of the sonar of whales and dolphins. So think of that as an ability. This isn't about intuition coming on. And this is why I emphasize the difference between consciousness, soul wisdom, and divine intelligence. Each of those gives you a different funnel or a different glasses to look at the world through. And I think when it talks about seeing for hundreds of miles, I think what it's talking about is the divine plan, the ability to see the divine plan and the bigger picture of everything that's going on for us as souls and for us as humanity. Now, Lemurians, when they had their cataclysm, they ascended. And I feel like they were advanced enough to ascend into an energetic state. But equally, what they did was they sent out an energy wave to the future generations before they ascended. So if we think of Kali Yuga as this cataclysmic time of change and the descent before ascending, and we're all worried about it's the end of the world, then I think that Lemurian energy that was sent forward to us, and we know time's not linear, so it's just a consciousness for us to tap into. If we can bring that through, then what we're doing is bringing forward the advice and the warnings of the Lemurian for when they experience this, that we can tap into to use for our experience. And I was wondering then if that's the kind of message, was life is glorious, which I saw as a river of consciousness to tap into, was that the Lemurian energies that we're talking about? So tapping into life is glorious on a 3D level is one thing, but imagine that as a narrative for the planet, and that frequency sent out by the Lemurians was there for us to learn how to make life is glorious. Because the word glory to me had a kind of transcendent kind of feeling to it. It wasn't just simply a word, if that makes sense. So if these Lemurian streams of consciousness are there, we can tap into them and we can use that to help us connect to our feminine ways. And I don't mean that as a weak way, feminine is intuitive and soft. These were formidable beings. They really did know how to hold space for this balance and to take action. So it's that blend, again, what I'd call the quantum human, that perfect blend of feminine and masculine aspects in harmony. So maybe that's what the theme is referring to there, is too much focus on sexual matters. And if we could just accept that we are beings, quantum humans, with both male and female gifts. Does that alter the perspective and reframe the narrative? So what do you think about that? Does that kind of make you see things differently when you think of that? So don't think of yourself as male or female, but just think of you as having male and female gifts that you're now learning to use. So then that leads us into the preparation. And the preparation was to do with the blessings of Eve. And the last time I got this card, like I said, was in 2022. And it was just before Comet Atlas was discovered. And surprisingly, Comet Atlas is coming back for its second journey around us. And this card has come up again. And both times it was October, interestingly. So both times it arrived within the constellation of the full moon in Aries. So if it's here again, it sounds like we're getting another upgrade, another download of consciousness. So we got one in the end of 2022, and now we're getting another one. And there's a relationship to the Eve wound. Because the Eve wound, the sin of Eve, that is kind of the narrative that the Bible sort of shares with us all. But it's not just about how the woman did something sinful. This wound impacts the whole of humanity. The Eve sin narrative is a way to suppress the feminine spiritual power. And again, think of that as Lemuria, yeah, in that context, not just about being a woman. And at the same time, it also infested the sacred womb architecture with a virus, which is our means of manifesting. And again, male and female have a womb concept of manifesting. It's not just down to one sex. So this is kind of a big topic to think about this month. So I'm only going to cover the highlights here because we've got to kind of finish soon. So what I was realizing was that comets are called sky serpents. And what if the Garden of Eden was actually Earth, and that the snake of the Garden of Eden was comet, bringing in new consciousness? And then Eve used her masculine willpower to take action, to take a bite of the apple being the pineal, opening up of the pineal, and accessing the feminine spiritual power. So we can have the male aspect as being our action-taking divine father type energy, and the spiritual energy is that divine mother spiritual power coming together. And she becomes the mother of knowledge because of it. And from knowledge is wisdom. And I was told that the snake originally in the Garden of Eden on one of my soul journeys was representing Sirius, which is our spiritual sun. So how does that feel, considering the Garden of Eden on this kind of galactic story level, that the comet was this Atlas comet, maybe, bringing in this higher dimensional information to download, to awaken us to a higher consciousness, so we could become ourselves, each of us as humans, quantum humans, become the mother of knowledge, not having to seek other consciousness to learn it, but we become it as a galactic story. Anybody else tune into that and see if that feels true for you? So again, I suggest you kind of follow this for the next month and see what comes to you. I think the comet leaves, well, it gets less visible for a while, but it might take another couple of weeks before it disappears. Yeah, again, yeses to that resonates. Okay, so you're going to imagine then that the comet is bringing us new spiritual gifts based on this new brain architecture this time. So it was whatever it brought in 2022 now is like the upgraded version again. It's come back to give another second upgrade. And that this brain architecture is going to allow us to have a completely different view of our spiritual nature, of our galactic involvement, and our role in the universe, maybe? What do you think? And it was interesting when I was tapping into this Eve energy, it comes back to the word glorious again. Allowing your soul to be supported in its glorious manifestation. So hence why I was thinking the Life is Glorious stream is related. Now, as always, any power that we get, new upgrades, we have to be responsible, discerning, be careful of your words and thoughts because you don't know what you're manifesting. If you're negative and focused on the dark aspects of humanity crumbling, you're going to just add and feed that. If you can focus on love, then you can bring that into reality. And that's kind of been the theme all month with the solar flares, that we're getting more and more powerful, and we have to be really conscious of what we're manifesting now. So learning to think bigger and more gloriously and receiving this new wisdom as the ego Sophia, which is that divine intelligence to birth yourself as the mother of higher consciousness. And this also kind of fits in with the second moon, because as the archer, like in Sagittarius, the archer, the arrow becomes, you merge with the arrow. You start off as the half centaur and man, which is that battle between personality and soul. You then step into being the rider of the animal, sitting on the back of the horse with the bow and arrow. And then you merge into being the arrow, where your will becomes divine will, where your divine intelligence is just naturally flowing through you. And you instinctively know which path to take. And you become an influential arrow of wisdom for humanity. So that's the challenge. Oh, sorry, that's the preparation that's already started back in 2022. And it's coming in for a second upgrade now. So that's what we're going to be expecting to see shifting. And it fits in with the Aries regeneration, as I said, that new brain plug-in that we've got. So the interesting thing is then the challenge is one of the tarot cards. If you're into tarot, it's the star card. It represents the star card. That's the challenge, is us becoming the major arcana star woman. And again, this is about becoming a guiding force towards the light, balancing heaven on earth, connected fearlessly to the divine plan, ready to consciously alchemize the dark into light, being vulnerable, not needing armor, just relying on our pure spiritual potential, bringing all the elements together in a powerful quantum human way, and willing to embrace this living death we're all going through, because we know it's leading to higher dimensional consciousness, but also becoming the hope for others that are awakening to their potential, not by becoming teachers or healers, but by just living our truth and mirroring and modeling that to others so they can see what this would look like. And it's interesting that the star card is kind of the feminine part of Aquarius. So Aquarius was the water bearer, because that brings in intelligence as well. But whereas the water bearer brings it in, as in it pours down consciousness onto the planet. It's extroverted, it's action, it's future thinking, it's utopian, it's working for the whole of humanity. The star is almost like each of us becoming these individual stars to receive that consciousness, where we then become more thoughtful, introverted, individual, and we work and alchemize the energies and the consciousness we've been given into new concepts that can be more easily absorbed on the 3D layer. So it's that real Aquarius on the macro down to the micro, which is us. And that can be done in a really small way. So this is where I'm going to suggest you guys pull a card to find out how this star woman energy as a challenge, what you need to learn this month to help you integrate that. So what do you need to help you step more, or at least to integrate the star energy to become the quantum human, allowing for the fact that we've got the Eve and the Lemuria stuff woven into that as well. So pull a card to see how that's going to help you. Or if you don't use cards, then just ask for a message from this divine intelligence. Talk to the comet, bring in the energy from the comet and see what you get. So it's quite an esoteric reading this month, but hopefully you can see how it all works together. We've got the mudra to assist with the downloads. Don't forget the mudra. The advice was to call on the sapphire energy, which kind of the mudra is also blue, which is quite interesting, to help you regenerate. And then the final part of the energy this month is the next steps. And the next steps are integrating the energy of things like polychrome jasper, which is a multidimensional integration tool. This is one of the crystals that helps integrate heaven and earth. And it can help you become more grounded as we're going through this regeneration. It can help you connect more into your Earth star. And I often find after big shifts like this, I suggest that we reintroduce ourselves to the planet And I find that when you reintroduce yourself to the planet, what happens is you get access to new earth magic. You get access to being able to manipulate form in a better way in order to manifest your dreams. And as at the moment, your dreams that you need to be manifesting have to be aligned with the divine plan in order to really make progress at the moment. So just make sure you're on the right path, that you're aligned with the divine plan, and that you haven't been like the work that you're doing isn't something from your personality, because that's not going to work. That's going to crumble now, remember. So that's all the energy for this month. So the mantra that you want to align with this month is, I am here. I am now fully present in my multidimensional quantum human nature. I am perfect as I was. I am perfect as I am. And I am perfect as I will be. So just acceptance that this is the journey. We're exactly where we're meant to be at this time. So Jenny's just shared her card. She who flows, ease, being open to change, go with the flow of life. That very much is the image on the star card. The Rider-Waite deck, it was that deck that came up. There's a naked woman looking vulnerable and soft, playing with waters, sitting equally between heaven and earth with the 7 stars of our energy system and the main star in the center. So yeah, that sounds like perfectly aligned. That's nice. Anybody else got anything on their challenge card they want to share? Well, we'll talk more about it in a moment when we go into Zoom. But if anybody else wants to share any takeaways in the comments, then please do. There's quite a lot of energy there for us to talk about. So the theme was the rabbit being overly concerned with sexual matters and talking about these clouds, going up into the clouds, the roads within the clouds to access higher consciousness streams as a kind of highway concept. The preparation was this Eve, like basically stepping into being the mother of wisdom based on the Eve narrative. We've got the outlook as this Lemurian using feminine ways in a more empowered way to bring harmony and unity consciousness onto the planet, which represented that next phase of the Saita Yuga, if I pronounce that right, into the golden age. We had the challenge, which is the Star Woman, stepping into being the individualized version of the Aquarius, mass consciousness, utopian for the whole, now learning how to alchemize that down to the individual. Then we had the mudra to help make the consciousness easier through this body regeneration of the energies of Aries and all of the cosmic energies coming down right now. And then we had the advice, which was the sapphire blue, to help with that as well. And then the next steps is the polychrome jasper to help you really ground this down into success for yourself. Again, success for yourself and for humanity, the two together. So if you've enjoyed what I've done today, then as I said, do please share it and stick a like on and some comments, because it doesn't matter if the comments are just stars or hearts. Any comment helps the algorithm think that maybe it could share to more people. But if you really want to start embracing this quantum human way, then I've been doing this work now for 3 years as a membership to teach people how to step into the skills they need for this. So there's 2 ways you can work with me. You can either work with me through the membership, and that's a 12-month subscription model where you can just sign up for the month or the whole 12 months. I hope you enjoyed enough to stay with me for the whole journey. But each month we learn one aspect of Quantum Human, and we've got like 144 questions over the whole year to explore and to journal and to learn in a more natural way. It's not a kind of teaching where I teach you exactly what to do. It's more learning through experience. And it's done as an online workshop. So there's that option. We do have some community building aspects in it, because I think it's important that we all learn to find out other quantum humans to work together. You'll get a workbook, replays, and also then you get some other videos to help you process that lesson for that month. So that's the membership, the Quantum Human membership. And if you want to do a more intensive, like you're in a hurry to get out there and kick the world into shape, then maybe you want to focus on being with me one-to-one on a 6-month intensive, where our sessions are like between 2 and 3 hour sessions to recalibrate and to align your energies and awaken your soul's great vision and make sure you're plugged into the highest frequencies to see what you're here to do. So there's that option too. But you can always email me if you're interested. I prefer to have a chat with people because this is kind of a different way to approach this. So I want to make sure everybody's aligned with what I'm offering before you kind of get in, so you get to ask questions. Because the thing is, we need high vibe people. We need people who are ready to take action. And if people are not quite in that, it drags the energy of the group down. So that's why I tend to chat with people first. So hopefully it feels like this was a paradigm shifting kind of reading this month. So it'd be interesting to see how you all, or what happens for you in your individual narratives, how this shows up for you. Because obviously, you know, this is a global scan of what I'm sensing. Experiences. So quantum humans, how do you all feel right now? Oop, broken again. So quantum humans, how do you all feel right now? So if you're interested in any of my work, then whitestarsoulguidance@gmail.com. You can email me there and just let me know what your goals are. And then I can see if I can help you with the techniques that I've been downloading and learning on this pathway to us accessing this higher dimensional information. Otherwise, I'll see you next month on the 18th of November. Do remember to hit like, share, comment. I've got a lot of dark energy, especially at the end of this Kali Yuga. You know, we're going to probably get more opposing forces. So let's bring our light and share so that we can get these videos out to more people. I've been told that I need to call on others for help in sharing some of this because that's the only way I'll break through the barriers that I'm trying to break through. Otherwise, do make sure you also hit the bell to be notified when I load videos. So I did load a little video the other day about the difference on focusing on fear as opposed to focusing on joy and having a glorious life. So thank you all. I'm going to now go and spend some more time with the Zoom people. And again, if you want to join me on the think tank that happens after this live finishes, again, just email me and I'll send you the Zoom link for next time. Otherwise, I think the thing I want you to remember this month, the kind of leaving parting words for you, is that you're more powerful than you realize. You're here for something much bigger. You were purposely made to sleep because if they knew what you were here for, you'd have been hunted out sooner. So allow yourself, it's safe now for you to allow that version of you to be expressed, to step into your power, and to allow yourself to regenerate into this quantum human you're meant to be at this time and expand your consciousness to bring that new knowledge and wisdom down, become the mother of knowledge for humanity. It's time to shed playing that small imposter that you've been playing. And it's time for you to achieve great things. So thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Bye.